You're live.
Are you ready?
Pete, you're on. You guys have.
Okay, here we go. We're on.
Hey,
everybody, welcome to another edition of Come Together right here on WKDW 97.5 Real Community Radio. I'm your host, Pete O'Shea. With me, as always, is my co-host, the lovely and talented, and yes, I am contractually obligated to say that, because not only is she my co-host, she's also my wife. Pastor Shannon Elizabeth Fitzpatrick O'Shea, how are you?
I'm lovely, thank you.
And we are
those things.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. And again, we are here in the home of our children and grandchildren right here. And we have with us our very special guest this week on the show. This is our Father's Day edition. And so who better to talk to about Father's Day than our son, who is also happens to be a father at the same time. Collin Pope joins us now as our guest. Hi, Collin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, you're freaking me out a little bit. I'm just going to be honest with you first off the bat. I'm just going to stay with you.
Wait, go ahead.
He looked like Jesus earlier today. His
Yes,
hair was all the way down. His beard out to here. There was people in there didn't know the war was over, hiding in his beard. All right, I would pull pizza out of there from time to time. I now see a chin here and head and everything.
The hair was down to here.
What that's gotta be my first question. What is with this metamorphosis we've got going on? What was the impetus?
It's getting hot outside.
It was just because of that, because it's getting hot outside?
Yeah.
It could also be that he works in a kitchen.
But this is a radical change, though. Is there something spiritual or a Father's Day connected? Because this is what you asked us for your Father's Day present. Does this connect somehow, or am I just reaching?
It keeps these kids from pulling my hair.
And that's Finley right there, his daughter. All right, his wife Blake is running the camera. Levi is part unknown. Mary Kate is hanging around too. We've got friends in the house too. Claire and Bo are here with us as well. So since you made him, and now that's how he got the chance to first be a son, then a brother, then a husband, and then a father, you could go ahead and ask him the first question there, Granny Shannon.
Well, my first question is, first of all, you can thank me for the whole world can thank me for these beautiful looks and your wife.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But second of all, I just want to start out by saying I'm thankful to be blessed with two lovely sons, Collin and Liam. Lovely may not be the best word for Liam, but I would have to say it does suit Collin because of his kindness and compassion and his gentleness.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. That comes shining through in everything he does and who he is. He's a wonderful dad, a wonderful son to us and everybody, and to his dad and everyone all around. He's great at everything he does. That comes through in who he is. And yeah, he's also a swell looker. You don't look so bad, do we? Yeah, you stick him up there, and he shines up real nice.
He does.
Yeah, like a real nice
up
penny.
like a pretty penny.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
But the first thing I want to ask my son is, what do you think your biggest influences were growing up that made you who you are today as a father?
Probably the way you and Dad, treated me as a kid. Whether something was wrong or whatever, you were always very calm and patient with my inability to always communicate things well.
And that's an excellent point, because not everyone has the gift of gab like someone like Pete or myself had.
Well, they're in the bedroom,
For
baby.
that matter. But you were always a really well-behaved kid, but when you did screw up, you screwed up pretty big, I guess. I would say. When you did make a few mistakes, they were life-changing. But that being said, you always handled everything with grace and
Yes, baby.
a real dignity that, as a mom, I'm impressed with. And I think we need to really understand that young adults, teenagers, people that go through challenges at times have these opportunities to grow through things that they've overcome. Do you want to talk about maybe one of your bigger life things that maybe made you a father?
Having a kid in high school.
Having a kid in high school. There's many of us that have been down that road. So when you guys first found out you were pregnant with Levi, before we knew he was Levi or that he was a boy for that matter, what was the thing? How did you handle that?
Kept it to ourselves for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, open the door.
And when we went to tell you, we chickened out and just left the pregnancy test in your room and sent you a text.
And I remember getting that text. It said, we're at 7-Eleven. We don't know how to tell you this, Mom, but you're going to be a grandma. And what was my reply? Do you guys remember?
It's okay, come home.
It's okay, come home. So Pete and I were friends during that time, and I was a regular guest on Pete's radio show on WTIS. I remember that following week, I was scheduled to be a guest, or not a guest host, but a special guest on your program. And I remember telling you, guess what? I'm going to be a granny Shanny. My 17-year-old is just fathered a baby. Do you remember what you said?
I was excited. I was like, that's fantastic news, a new life, you know? I mean, you know, anyone else, some other people might call that a mistake. It's not a mistake at all. We've got wonderful Levi from it, don't we now?
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful boy that he is.
It is a blessing, and it was hard for Collin and Blake when they found out, because they were going to a school that didn't allow for that sort of thing to be accepted.
No, and they were expelled because of it.
And they were both expelled. And it wasn't how
Banned
I
from
wanted
campus.
them to handle the situation, the school.
Where's the mercy? Where's the grace?
Exactly. And they had to leave their high school where they had met and where they had fell in love. And even though their plan was to marry, even though we didn't force that on them as parents, that's what they chose to do because they love each other. It was hard on them because now they had to leave their friends, and Blake had to go to a special school for teenage moms and finish her degree. Collin had to transfer to a public school and finish his, even though he was on this fast track for honors and what was that called when you graduate with 2 years of college already.
Dual enrollment.
Dual enrollment. Thank you. So it was. What are you laughing at me for?
That's all right.
But no, it was hard because that's a lot of transition when you're 17, 18 years old.
But yet that transition goes into who he is as a dad now. That experience and rising above it and through it makes him a better dad today because he's overcome so much already. In very excellent fashion. and therefore you can then say, all right, you know, I've got some, you know, callus on me now, and I can handle some of the tougher stuff that still has to come. It really was a blessing, like you said, in disguise.
Absolutely. Levi's the best thing that ever happened to our family, and of course now Fin. So we're thankful that, you guys did that. That you guys made those kids. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, you know, I'm still in awe of the haircut. I can't handle it. It's just freaking me out. I just look over at this guy. I'm like, where the heck is the rest of my son? Where is he? Where'd he go? Where'd the rest of Collin go? There's so much that's missing.
You can see his ears now.
I know you can see his. I didn't even know you had ears.
I didn't either.
All right. Anyway, you know, the modern parenting is a lot harder than the parenting we went through, or that they did with you guys, or any of that stuff. This era now is, I think, the hardest era ever to parent. Would you agree with that? With everything that has just come around now, between COVID and social media and all the other junk, the instant life, the blah and crap that's going on. Do you agree with me? This is the hardest time ever to raise a child.
It's definitely difficult. It's not like super easy, but it's not horrible at least. things.
Yeah, but the
Fun.
mentality that we used to have, where you could just go out all day long and not worry about anything, and everybody on the block was your mom, and you kind of knew it, and you just kind of went home when it got dark, and it was like the unwritten rules and all that kind
And
of
you
stuff.
kind of had that childhood.
Yeah,
that
you
kind
of-
ran the neighborhood.
But that doesn't really exist anymore.
No.
And so we have to adjust as parents and grandparents accordingly. And I think those adjustments happen more often now than ever. They were always happening, from the 80s to the 90s to 2000, everything kept adjusting. But it seems like what used to be an adjustment per generation is almost like an adjustment every year or every couple months.
Well, I think about like Levi's age, your oldest son, our grandson. He's 6. When you were 6, you left the house on your own. You walked to the bus stop by yourself. You got on the bus by yourself. I would stand outside and watch you walk, but I didn't always go with you.
But that seems implausible today,
I
right?
can't even think of allowing Levi to do that.
No, me either.
I can't even process that he could A, handle it, or B, that we live in
It's
a
a
safe
foreign-
enough
It's
area.
hard to even think about it or see it. It's like thinking about somebody smoking on an airplane or something
Right.
else from 2 generations ago, using a rotary phone or something else. It makes
Yeah.
no sense today to see a child being able to do that now, which is so weird. We're not that many generations removed from when he was able to do it. So look where we are as a country, as a nation, for the
You're
family.
almost 25 now, which is I'm old, but it just did you just give him a shot?
I did.
Was
I
that
just
his
gave him an
inoculation
injection. I just
for,
gave him a dad shot right here. There you
Yeah.
go. Okay.
But I think about how different things are, like what you were just saying, and how. Oh, thank you. I don't know whose this is, but yeah.
No, you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's my Coke.
Oh, like this. This is mommy's. Family germs. But it is kind of hard. Dr.
Dr. Pepper. Okay. So yeah, we're in a different whole generation now, a whole
Right.
different way of parenting. It really has come down to.
So what do you think? What's your parenting style? Do you have a parenting style? How do you
Can you even have one of these?
how do you manage these people? Especially this one.
Not that well.
Not that well.
We have our schedules and our routines.
Yeah. But I mean, for the most part, you're a pretty laid back guy and a laid back dad. But I've seen you freak out, especially at Levi, from time to time. He likes to press buttons.
Yeah.
That and he's getting older, so he's,
Trying to get away with more things.
He is trying to get
and
away.
hiding them.
Yes. He's also making up things. The other day, we have this thing. He can download a game on my cell phone, but he has to delete one of his other games first, as not to just, fill my phone with storage of stupid games. And he decided to tell me, Dada said, Pete Shannon, Dada said it was okay if I added this game. I just think he forgot to tell you. Wow.
Yeah, but we all tried that trick now, didn't we, over the
Yeah,
days?
so
We all tried that trick.
He's using the whole Dada said card already. So.
What about school today is different too? The interaction with teachers, the other students, that's a whole different racket now too today, isn't it? What's that like now as a parent?
I didn't meet any of his classmates this past year. I met his teacher 2 or 3 times in the last half of the year. It's weird. I don't know much that's going on in this.
But see, that's so different because back in the day, my parents knew everything about every one of my teachers, and they were in pretty constant communication with them also.
Yeah, and it's weird because at the school where he goes, the parent really isn't allowed to go in the school. You drop them off, and the teacher or whoever's working the car line, points them to go into the building. But you don't really have the chance to go in there and,
Unless you're on the PTA, you can't.
Unless you're on the PTA. You don't have that interaction that we had. Or I was a full-time volunteer at your school. I don't know if you know this.
Yes.
I remember this. I hope I didn't overstep my mom card. But I volunteered at your school twice a week. From the time you were in kindergarten until I had your brother. I was in your classroom making copies for the teacher or cutting out things for the teacher, helping with projects or volunteering to go on a field trip. But it was what you did, and it was what parents did, and it was normal. It was the norm.
But now both parents, in this case and almost every case now,
work.
have to both be working, and so you don't have the school trip anymore, or the volunteering, or any of that stuff.
The
anymore.
ability to be able to
So
do that.
you're not able to make the relationship with the teacher then,
Mm-hmm.
and now it takes forever to get that connection with that.
And you say that, and that's interesting because I'm still social media friends with Collin's kindergarten teacher, his first grade teacher, and his second grade teacher, and several of his elementary and junior high teachers.
So we're 1 or 2 generations removed.
And principals.
So you were buddy, you're
I was-
still close with them, and then
Yeah.
the next generation, there's no contact at all. And that is not the teachers or the principal's fault.
No.
It's the measure of what's going on now and how it's done.
They're
you know?
probably not allowed to become social media even friends with
Probably
parents.
not. And
Yeah.
they probably all use pseudonyms anyway, so that they're not seen on social media.
Yeah, right.
I know several teachers that don't use their real name for social media because they don't want their students and everybody to see their stuff too, right? And so this becomes a real problem. You blur the line between where is life and teaching and life and the kid. What is that all? The line is blurred in too many directions now
Mhm.
for those relationships to exist.
Yeah.
And that's really unfair to everybody because the teachers used to get much more out of it too when the parents were there to support it and volunteer. They knew more about the kids. They were getting direct intel from the parents about what the kid, worked as far as motivating the child, and a game plan could be made.
Man, especially when I was growing up, because my mom was a teacher, and we weren't even allowed to get a B in a class. If you got an 89.9, mom was on the phone with the teacher. What did Shannon do wrong? What do I need to work on with her? And it was constant. Yeah, I never did that with him. I did help him with his homework. I refused to be that kind of, even though I was accessible in a volunteer setting, I didn't want to be that parent that hovered and helicoptered and, you know what I mean? Hopefully I came across that way.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Come on, though. So there were times when she helicoptered on you, isn't there?
You think?
Not really.
Like,
Not
Blake's
too bad.
like,
A couple times when me and him started dating.
let's just look at the past.
Protective, yeah. Still didn't work.
Didn't work. Backfired. But one of the things I kind of wanted you to kind of talk about is, as you were growing up, one of the things that was important to me as a mom was to give you more experiences than things. So I didn't buy you a lot of toys. If you wanted video games, you and your brother had to
Save up for it.
save up for them, buy them yourself. And I took you on every mission trip that I ever went on, pretty much, except for China.
Yeah.
And you started going on foreign mission trips when you were 10, 9? 9 or 10 years old. What was the first country you went to?
The first one was the Dominican
Republic.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience. What do you remember about that first trip and, the whole traveling and being immersed in another culture?
Most of it all kind of blurred together because we went
Project
every
a
year.
little. Yeah.
Mostly what I remember was just everyone coming up to me because I had really blonde hair at the time. And no one had seen blonde hair, so everyone was just walking up to me and running their fingers through their hair at all times.
Yeah.
That
Be like
was
this, and then just kind of doing like that.
But there's
Kinda
none
like-
left now.
Yeah, the
That
words
is
where's all
already
the blonde? Yeah.
blonde's gone. But yeah, it was definitely interesting realizing how different we look to some people in other countries.
Which was probably weird for you because your best friend's black. Your other friends are, of Latino descent. It's not like you only had white friends. So here you're going to a country where a lot of people look just like your friends from school. And yet you're kind of like, oh, look at this gringo.
Look at this. Look at the white kid.
Yeah, look at the white kid with the blonde hair. I remember the girls really liked Collin back in the day.
Well, let me ask this then, because here's what I always know. I've interviewed you every time you came back from a mission trip, and the consistent, what I heard was over there's such a sense of appreciation for everything.
Yes.
For the most minimal thing, they really truly appreciate it and value it. So that experience as a child, going to that many mission trips and seeing that, does that influence you now as a parent?
Yeah. It's a lot easier to get just really enjoy everything that we have, everything.
The little things, everything, right?
Everything we're able to do with the kids.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head because that's who I see you as. Is somebody who's enjoying every minute.
And engaged and there and in
and
it.
present.
And present,
Yeah.
right. I mean, this is hard. It's hard as heck to raise youngins at any age, especially now, with the economy the way it is, okay? If we keep going in the next direction, it's going to be $14 a gallon, okay? And instead of getting engaged to somebody with a ring, you're going to give them a gallon of gas, and they're going to say
Right.
he went to Chevron, okay?
Right.
So this is where we're at. So this is the hardest it's ever been. So yeah, now we all got to be there to each other. We got 2 minutes left. Make the finale. Go ahead, you two.
Well, I just can you give me a little shout out to let's just say this. The Bible says you train up a child in the way they should go, and when they get old, they will not depart from it. So I hope I raised you right, because I think I see the fruit of it.
I think so.
I think so too,
I
and
think
I
so
think
also.
the blessing is natural. How you love your kids and how you love your wife, and I'm proud of you, and I think you're an amazing father.
Yeah.
Even though we don't get to celebrate with our dads anymore.
Yeah, but we get to celebrate with you, and we're extremely proud of you. You're an outstanding dad. You're an outstanding husband, and an outstanding son. You're there for us at every twist and turn. You're there for everyone. So thanks for being here as our guest on the show, and thanks to all of you dads that are out there. You don't have to be the father to be a dad. I'm not a father to anybody, but I sure am a dad to as many people as will have me, and I've got plenty of those. And it takes a special person to be a good dad. So there's a shout out to all the dads out there. Thank you all so much for what you do. God bless you all. We'll see you next time here on Come Together. Until then, listen, guys, don't forget now. You got to do one thing and one thing only, and that is
Come together.
Right here on WKDW 97.5 FM, Real Community Radio.
Radio.
Thank you, Marie LaBras, Joe, RJ, Jill, the gang. We'll see you next week.